you're down. Win more, lots more.
Folks, welcome back to the show where it's not wrestling with your conscience. It's not wrestling with your budget. It is wrestling with emotion. And yet again, we're saying for the first time in not too long of a time, it's been another great week to be a wrestling fan. So we got a lot to get into. And speaking of a lot to get into, Batavia Downs. They got Rockin' the Downs every weekend on Friday. And they got amazing deals all week long. Follow them at Batavia Downs. But we are at AEW 250. We are at speeding towards SummerSlam. So let's bring our crew in here. We got Slick Saturday. We got the Prophet, Rob Ryan. We got the Ultimate Mark himself, Ali, and we got the head of the Wrestling with Emotion table, Michael J. Partham. With that said, gents, what are we loving? What are we feeling going into Dynamite 250? Now, again, we can do WWE. We can do the whole landscape, but obviously big night tonight for 250. Ali, why don't you kick us off since you're the Mark of Marks?
I know nothing.
You fucking Mark!
I know absolutely nothing.
No, I'm not talking about AEW. I'm talking about what you're liking in WWE, you silly. What are you doing? What do you got?
Oh, in WWE, man, the Wyatt Six has me gripped this week. I just want to know what Bo Dallas's character is all about because he was getting his ass whooped and was laughing the entire time. It was really weird. And we got to see all the characters come out. Got a really good VHS tape with Eric Rowan. It's really interesting. I cannot wait. I hope we get to see him at SummerSlam, but I doubt it. That's really my thoughts there. Obviously,
no, I like that. Your favorite thing, Parthi. What's your favorite thing going on in the current wrestling landscape?
You know what? I don't want to pick out one thing because in the landscape of WWE, I mean, when's the last time 3 hours of Raw didn't feel like 3 hours? We have so much going on. The Rhea, Dom, Liv triangle. We have the triangle of Seth, Drew, and CM Punk. The Creeds finally joined up with the. Now I'm blanking.
Chatty Daddy.
Chad Gable.
Chad Gable,
and he's getting into it with the Wyatt Six finally in the ring, as opposed to just being haunted by all these, demonic figures. They really filled out 3 hours of Raw with a lot of content, and the Bloodline story is only just going to start to pick up after SummerSlam. I mean, and Gunther's about to be, we all anticipate, I believe, crowned World Heavyweight Champion. I can't remember when top to bottom WWE program was filled with so much things that made you care, And Raw the other night and for the last few weeks has not felt like 3 hours. I don't think they're going back to 2 hours when they go to Netflix. I think they're going to want to cram as much stuff as they possibly can into these shows from here on out.
Yeah, I have to, for the first time ever, agree with Parthi over there. There's really not much you can't love right now, especially in WWE. AEW has their big things. Obviously, tonight we'll talk about it later, but MJF and Ospreay. We have Swerve and Okada facing off tonight. Those are two big matchups. Obviously, we have Blood and Guts coming up, which they're starting to really build towards that with the Elite. Obviously, there's the whole Hangman and Swerve story going on right now, and we don't know where the hell that's going because obviously Hangman didn't win the Owen Hart. So there's a lot of good things to love in wrestling, and it's a lot of maybe predictable but also unpredictable at the same time. We don't know what direction they're going to go into.
But Slick, what's the one thing that it's all about right now in AEW?
You're just going to clip me.
Just say it.
No, you're just going to cut me off and say
I'm legitimately I'm trying to set a volley for you for crying out loud.
No. It's okay. It's okay. My favorite thing is Mommy. And Mommy or Liv. It seems to have the locker room divided. It's really troubling times over on Raw, especially for Dominic. I really feel for him, man. People forget that he's a felon. He's did hard time behind bars. Kid's had a rough life. He had a deadbeat dad growing up, did some time. Now he's got two beautiful women fighting over him. It must be tough. Prayers out to you, Dominic. I feel for you, buddy. I know how it is. But Dynamite tonight, it really is surreal. 250, man. For like the guys like some of us who were watching in like 2019, 2020, when it was like the hot new girlfriend, like the alternative at the time they were calling it. You could still argue it is that in a way. But yeah, two absolute dream matchups headlining the card. It's crazy because it's kind of like Swerve and Ospreay, these two guys that came in and saved AEW while it was entering this new era when Max was gone. And then you got Max back in the picture and Kazuchika Okada and Mercedes Moné on this card. I mean, come on. And TV time with the learning tree? I mean, come on, man.
But Slick, what is it all about? I'm serious. I'm lobbing you a softball here. Just say
it's all about Mariah.
Thank you.
It is all about Mariah.
I mean, yeah, we got to hear what she has to say. She did. She committed some pretty brutal actions.
As good as AEW has been going, a big part of what I'm looking forward to tonight is Mariah May speaking. I want to hear what possible reason she could have to turn her back on the timeless Tony Storm. Why can't we be friends going into All In?
I mean, dude, we all knew it was coming in a way, but like not like that, man. That was just so unprovoked. I actually, people say they let out a yelp. I was just speaphess. I mean, I support Mariah.
Or do we expect Tony to be the one to turn on Mariah?
No, Mariah had to be the one that turned. She's the competitor. I mean, why would Tony turn on Mariah because she sees her as her disciple, whatever. So like, why would she's gonna try to, if they were still together, Tony would have had the story of, oh, you have to let me win, blah blah, I've taught you everything, blah blah blah, like trying to get her to automatically lose. Whereas you kind of need Mariah to be turned so they can actually have a feud like that.
Yeah, no, I feel you actually, but I kind of do see where Partham's coming from because they are going into Wembley for the title, so they know Mariah's gonna get like a pop no matter what. So you could have it would have been good to have her as face in a way, but like I guess like now you have heel Mariah who's gonna get cheered in Wembley either way, and then Tony's still babyface Tony, so Tony's gonna get the pop too. But I mean. Yeah, Mariah's got some explaining to do, man. I'll stand with her through thick and thin, though.
We got some great comments across the platforms live here on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Obviously, Wrestling with Emotion brought to you by Batavia Downs. Yeah, speaking of a man who gets a pop wherever he goes, we got a couple of them in here. We got Mr. Jake Micah. Micah, what is the thing you're looking forward to least on this card out of what's before you right now on the screen? Because I know it's easy to pick about what you're liking the most, but I think least is a little tougher. This is all good shit.
Well, I'm locked in for TV time. So you thought I was gonna say that? No way. We're locked in. We're gonna see how the TV time. I want to follow the Bad Apple and the Redwood and see what they're up to. And Jericho's getting crazy last week, bro. He's getting a little deranged now. So I'm
deranged. Jericho might be the best Jericho.
Looking forward to the lead. That's a really tough question. You're putting me in a bad spot here. I'm going to have to disparage somebody I don't want to in a way, but it's got Mercedes and Nyla just because I don't know what's going to happen in that match. But I'm still very excited to see what happens post-match with the Mercedes storyline. I'm sure Dr. Britt Baker is going to be involved somewhere, but that should be a great match too. But just from what we're looking at with this card and this lineup right here, it's all heat for Dynamite 250. I'm very excited.
A lot of people say that a chicken wing is just a vehicle for the sauce that it has on it. I was going to say, is Mercedes and Nyla just a vehicle for the sauce that is Britt Baker coming into this feud and landscape?
Can we say how Nyla Rose seems to be the first contender for every new women's champion on the AEW roster? Is she like the gatekeeper or something?
She's like Lance Archer.
And also, you could have a quick match here and not only the doctor, but there's a certain Brit that's been out for a little bit that might want a spot at Wembley in a match.
I could see her, who we're alluding to, doing a run-in at the end of the Britt Mercedes match at All In. If she's not ready to compete, she can at least get a moment.
It's a good point. Maybe the All-In pop is what you wait for. But I just think, when you hear those return rumors from SRS about AEW Superstar or whatever you want to call them, my bad. That's gimmick infringement. We need a clip for that. I think like usually when you hear the return rumors, they usually happen fairly quickly. So we'll see. But I think either way, you can't go wrong with that return when you get to
especially
it.
AEW
Yeah, it always seems to be that way with the AEW ones. Whenever there's like the rumor comes out, and then it's like, oh, Dynamite's tonight. Hello, hey Jeff Hardy. Right.
Shout out everybody tuning on Instagram, the Weendles, T-Butts, Camber, Bullion. But with that said, well, now I'll make it easy on everyone. What are we looking forward to most tonight at AEW Dynamite 250? I'll kick it off on this one, and it's because I'm pissed. I want to hear what that hussy Mariah May has to say. Why couldn't we be cordial going in to their championship match? Why'd she have to turn her back on her role model, her idol, Toni Storm?
I mean, dude, it's all about Mariah now. Like, the time has come, the time is up, the time is now. Wembley Stadium, it's all about Mariah. The torch is being passed, if you will. And it's just how things got to go. Not everything in life is sweet and pretty. Tony, your time is up. It's all about Mariah. She had to do what she had to do. I can't wait to hear what she has to say tonight. But my favorite thing I'm looking forward to, I think it's got to be MJF Ospreay match.
Well, as always, someone's got to steal my shit. And you know what? I'm going to let my good friend Cody Rhodes tell me how I'm feeling right now.
This right here is bullshit.
You'll have to stop stealing my shit, because I was going to go MJF and Ospreay, because obviously we got Daniel Garcia hiding somewhere, obviously probably pretending to be injured, setting up for that triple threat in London. So I'm ready for Ospreay MJF.
You think that'll be a triple threat at All In?
I was going to say Pac is out there hanging around.
I just feel like they have that, all three of them combined in that story. They got to somehow get those three in a ring at one point.
Speaking of hanging around, a guy was hanging around and then I thought we lost him, but he's back. It's time for a little voice of reason halftime as we're talking about our favorite parts of AEW 250. Let's bring him in, Ernie Green. Ernie, been a little while since we heard from you. Welcome back to the program. With that said, how much are you looking forward to 250 tonight?
Number one, the best thing that's ever happened to me is I can't use my camera, so nobody can see my face. I think that's going to drive up. I think that's going to drive up ratings. To be honest with you.
We're going to do a number.
You're like the Young Bucks.
Yeah, exactly. Last week I tried to enter an ugly contest. They said, "Sorry, you're no professionals."
Oh,
so
shut
I think we're in good shape here.
Come on,
but to answer your question here, 250 is going to be great because number one, there's this potential to be an all-time great Dynamite. Number two, it's going to be a really good segue into All In. I think a lot of stuff that's going to happen here is going to either be a precursor to All In or kind of settle things to move forward to Wembley Stadium. So I think tonight has the absolute potential of being an all-time AEW, Dynamite. Not a pay-per-view type, not in the pay-per-view realm, but in terms of like a Dynamite, it could be an all-time Dynamite.
All right, I like it. Finishing it up, Ernie, why don't you kick us off for the bottom half of the screen there, and then we'll go up Parthy and Micah. One segment of the night that you're looking forward to the most.
I just want to see where MGM and Ospreay takes us because there's so many different directions they can go into that. And I think, we thought MJF was going to be like the white hot baby face heading into the summer and heading into the, into the fall months. And he's obviously not. And then Ospreay obviously will get a huge reaction in London as I think, I think that he is one of the best free agent signings in the history of pro wrestling. I'm going to say that right now.
Wow.
I think that if you went back to WWE now, they tell you that it was the kids say they fumbled the bag with Ospreay. I don't think they fully realized his potential. I think that's one. I think they're jumping for joy that they don't have Mercedes on their roster anymore. Don't get me wrong, but I think they've really, really underestimated the total package of Ospreay because he's not only the best wrestler in the world, he's as good of a promo guy as there is in pro wrestling, and he's only going to get better in my opinion, especially as he's in America. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where I think those two pillars of AEW are going to take the company moving forward after tonight.
I just want to add, I agree with that. However, I don't think WWE cares too much on it. I mean, obviously it would have been a great addition to WWE, obviously, but it's not hurting anything from WWE's aspect.
Definitely not. But AEW is still AEW is almost like fucking Homelander. They are physically and everything stronger than any of their competition. But well, you can't tell me that little things don't get to them. And I'm sure one of those little things is the fact that they don't have Ospreay for sure after what he's been able to do in AEW. But Parthy and then Micah, what do you got for 250 night you're looking forward to most?
Well, first of all, let me just answer what I least am looking forward to is once again TV time with freaking Chris Jericho. I mean,
after last week, you're
no,
crazy.
No. You want to tell me that Chris Jericho is the one you're most looking forward to on this show?
Mate, you're delusional.
You guys
Shoot himself up. I love it.
You guys are trolling people at this point. I mean, can you believe this?
Some of the things said on this television program.
You are just buying into the hype. You're just going along with it just to troll people. This is the worst thing Chris Jericho
What are you talking about?
The worst thing. You
fucking mark.
You know what?
Parthy, you weren't sports entertained when he put Samoa Joe through a wall last week.
That felt like an attitude.
Yeah, Parthy.
That I'll give him, but everything else,
I'm not feeling it.
I'm not feeling what you're saying right now.
I'm feeling freaking Chris Jericho.
Bye-bye, bitch.
Just like that.
Man, what a spam.
You can put it when it's your turn to talk. It's my turn to talk. It's my TV time right now.
Absolute
All right.
spam job.
Sorry.
Totally that means lie.
Ernie, what do you think of learning time? I mean, TV time.
You didn't even get it right.
What?
Sorry, I'm fired up. I'm excited as hell for the segment tonight, dude. Like, and you're just being a pessimist.
All right, let me be
You're being a bad apple, Artham.
I want to hear what the branch Ernie Green has.
I want to hear what one of the biggest
thing I'm
branches on the tree
forward
has to say.
Most
Shut
is
up.
MJF and
Shut up,
Ospreay.
bad apple.
I'm having more
MJF
fun.
and
I'm having more fun listening to them argue than speaking myself, so they can keep going. This is
please.
This is probably more entertaining than the segment tonight, to be honest with you. But I digress.
More entertaining than TV time, I would agree. But I will say I'm looking forward to MJF and Ospreay because I have no idea where the hell they're going after this. Because this is supposed to be a pay-per-view level match that they're giving away on free TV to get it's a ratings ploy. Let's just call it this. It's Goldberg Hulk Hogan in 1998.
Well, you don't know. To your point, Partham. People forget because of all the hijinks that happened after that card. When they had Punk wrestle Moxley and Moxley bury him, and then Punk and Moxley had a really, really good match that everybody's forgotten about because of all the extracurriculars. I think that worked. But everybody forgot about it, obviously, because all the other crap that happened afterwards that completely torpedoed everything.
Well, because it was a fake out. They faked everybody out and they tried to hook everybody for the pay-per-view. But all the reports are going around saying this is not a troll. This is not a fake out. They're really doing this.
I think they're going to have a match. I think it's going to segue into Wembley very well. I actually have. I have not been all that positive about AEW lately, just because I think their shows have been very inconsistent. Pay-per-views are great. Shows are inconsistent. I really do think something's going to happen tonight. It's going to parlay into a bigger and better match at Wembley. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Once in 1987. That's beside the point. But to answer your question about, I thought Randy St. Clair was going to win the Cy Young for the Montreal Expo.
Oh, God damn it, Ernie.
Would have been a big hit.
But anyway, to answer the question about Jericho, Jericho's an all-time wrestler. I think that this incarnation of him has kind of fallen flat. It can be salvageable, but I don't think in a 2-hour show it's going to be a big deal that he's going to be on the show. But he has been one of the. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, his signing kind of added a lot of credibility to AEW in 2019. He was going to be on this show no matter what. Is it a big important part of AEW right now? I don't think so. There's a million other things, in my opinion, that are better and are going to further the growth of AEW in the future. Yes. Do I have a problem with the guy who kind of really helped put AEW on the map at the beginning when he signed with them in 2019? Having him on the 250th show as a thank you for what he's done, I don't have an issue with that.
Fair.
Well said.
Also, the
like
first
that.
champion too, so it makes a lot of sense.
Tonight needs to be a celebration. So with that said, let's get ready for something we always love to celebrate, folks, and that is Trainwreck Trivia presented by Batavia Down. Batavia Down is more, lots more. All right, I know we're going to get this. Let's just see how quick we do it. 10 wrestlers with the most AEW Dynamite appearances. I believe this is matches. Yes, this is matches. Top 10 match guys for AEW Dynamite. Here, let's list them off. How long? How many? Let's see how many actual guesses we can keep it to. Can we keep it under 15 total to get the full list?
Okay.
That would be my
Jericho.
challenge.
Jericho.
Jericho is 5.
Moxley
is 1. You're 2 for 2.
Danielson.
Is that an official guess? He sounded like a question mark.
If we got 15, why not?
That's gonna be
You
a
have a
tough one
problem
because
with that,
I've been
Micah?
21.
What?
Maniac, you frozen?
Yeah. I go
There you go.
Hangman.
That's better. I was
Swerve.
say
Okay, Hangman 6.
Orange
So
Cassidy.
3 for 3. Orange Cassidy 2.
He's-
4 for 4.
There you go.
Swerve.
Do the Young Bucks like count as one or?
The Young Bucks are separate wrestlers.
Nick Jackson then.
Nick Jackson 4.
Swerve.
And Matt Jackson.
Swerve no.
Fuck.
Matt Jackson then.
Matt Jackson
Gotta be.
yes.
Ooh.
You have the
Darby?
you have the top 6.
Darby, yeah.
Darby Allin 7.
Kenny?
Jack Perry?
Kenny Omega yes. Jack Perry is 11, so no.
Oh wow.
So you're at 13 guesses. You're at 13 guesses right now. You have
Wait, did
8 and
someone
9.
say-
This is so. This is like
Did
you gotta
someone
really
say
think.
Dar-
Like
did
who's
so-
been there since day 1? Who's been there since day 1?
Did someone say
Sammy
Darby
Guevara.
already?
I said
Sammy
Darby.
Guevara is 12.
Did someone say Darby already?
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I did,
Darby is
yeah.
at 7. You're good. You're good. Everyone got one.
I'm gonna. I'm not,
any
I'm
other
gonna say
guesses?
I'm gonna say it's not MJF because he
Gotta
hardly
be a
worked
woman.
with
Not
Gotta be a woman or
MJF.
two on that
Not
list.
MJF. And it's not a woman.
Ooh. Is
It might
Dynamite?
be like
though, I
one of
don't
the
know.
best
Never mind.
friends or something, Micah.
These guys.
Well, I
would
was
be
thinking-
considered-
I was thinking
these guys would be
Jackson
considered
Cash.
best friends potentially.
I was thinking Jackson Cash, but
Oh wait, so it's one of
it's a lot of
Orange's
collision
guys.
too.
Trent Beretta.
No.
Or is
it's
it
not
Jackson
the best.
Cash?
It's not the best friends, but I guess you could consider these guys are best friends because they team up every so often.
Every so
Every
often.
so often.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, one of them
Huh.
goes into a weird
Wow.
alter ego character.
Who has an alter ego?
Penta and Ray Phoenix.
Damn. I'm
Man,
mad. I
that
didn't
was
get that.
obvious, dude.
I'm
I gave it
Oh,
to you. I was
yeah.
trying to cue it up. I was saying who's been there.
The only two guys that Matt
tell
and
you
Nick
what, the
Jackson
only-
like ever wrestle in.
The only thing more obvious than that
That's 7
trivia
matches
is that
with
you
them.
should get to
they
Batavia
had a
Downs
7
for a
series.
great weekend, folks. Of course, always a good opportunity there. Do we have any other trainer trivia? We'll for AEW. Give me 1 second. Okay. Well, I'm gonna pull this up. Did you remember that this main event did a Dynamite one time?
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
that was the Owen Cup like
Final?
semifinal or
Nice.
something, I think. Or was it the final?
I completely forgot about that one.
I think it was the semis.
I think it was the
I think
semi.
Colby,
yeah.
I think
I
Colby
totally
Joe in
did
the
forget
final.
that happened though.
Let's see. And then besides that, okay, and then Mike is not allowed to answer. What was the
Yeah.
first match of AEW Dynamite 1 and what was the main event of AEW Dynamite 1?
Wasn't there like Cody Sammy
Yeah,
Guevara
Cody's
match?
got to be on there.
Cody Sammy Guevara was the first match, right, Micah?
Yes.
And then the main event, this was all elite wrestling.
Something with the Elite, the Bucks and
Something
Kenny?
with the elite. Kenny and the Bucks versus
Orange and the best friends.
Jericho and what was their tag team name? Sammy or not Sammy? The tag team. Ortiz
Santana
and
Ortiz?
Santana
Santana,
Ortiz.
yeah.
I couldn't get over
The
Sammy.
inner
The inner
circle,
circle.
right?
The inner
It was the start of the inner circle. Was that?
Yeah.
Was
Well,
the end of that
they
show.
weren't the inner circle until after the match, and then they put
Yeah, they
they
debuted
brought out
after.
Jake Hager and Sammy Guevara, right?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, they did. All right. And let's see. So we're kind of moving along here. So we AEW 250. We're all looking forward to it. It's about 2 hours away. Just to wrap us up here on Wrestling with Emotion, episode 8. Let's get into it for SummerSlam. This is what we have for the card confirmed, gents. So let's build out the card nice and easy. What do we got for Logan Paul and the U.S. title?
LA Knight.
Yeah.
LA Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Los Angeles.
Yeah. And it seems like in flux right now, but we got CM Punk, McIntyre, Rollins potentially. If CM
I
Punk
think it's
can
just
go,
going
it
to be
seems.
Punk and Drew.
Yeah. The
I
rumor
think
is
Punk
that
and
it's going
Drew
to be
unsanctioned.
an unsanctioned match, and Rollins is going to volunteer to take on it as a special guest referee. Like take this off Adam Pearce's hands.
Okay, so then you got 5 matches there. What else do we got? The tag team titles.
Cody and Solo.
It's going to be the
Cody and Solo.
the-
You'll
the
eventually get to
Intercontinental triple threat with Ilya, Braun, and Sammy.
Is Ilya still going to be in that? I heard Meltzer was saying the other day he's not going to be in it.
It's Meltzer. Are we really believing Meltzer?
Come on.
Gotta give Meltzer's due. Ali, thoughts on Meltzer?
He's a bit of a nerd. He's a bit of a nerd. I don't really like Dave Meltzer.
Yeah, guys, every time a Meltzer report comes out, you gotta say,
Totally can't. That means lie.
That's fair. That's fair. I know you're not a big fan of Meltzer, Parthy, so I'll digress on that one.
Maniac,
But that
you're
gets
gonna
us
do
to-
that
gets
one.
us-
I got to do this for you.
Mate,
Okay.
you're delusional.
Liking
That's fair.
Meltzer.
That's
Come
fair.
on.
I'm just giving Meltzer his due. That's all.
You're
With that
giving
said,
it. You're giving. Dude, he doesn't need a rub, bro. It's all good.
where's Jey Uso fitting in all
That's
this?
what I've been thinking.
Yeah, that
Jey?
is a really good question, actually.
So that's the two things I want to talk about. I want to talk about Jey
Jay's
Uso.
been mixing
and then I
up
wanna
with
talk
Chad
about
Gable,
Solo
but Chad
Sikoa.
Gable's going to have his hands full with the Wyatt Six. So where's
He could wrestle Dominic or some shit.
He's
I
already
would love
wrestled
you
Dominic.
at
So what?
SummerSlam.
Dominic's going to be quite.
Jey
involved with
Uso's
that
going to
women's
rescue
championship match.
Cody Rhodes in some fashion, isn't he?
I think he's going to be saved for running in the main event. I agree with you.
Yeah, that seems right. It just seems very sus that Jey Uso literally is like hotter than he's ever been as far as the talent, and he's not already booked for WrestleMania. Or sorry, SummerSlam. Summer Yeet.
Yeah, I mean, he'll probably come in at that main event, and like they'll start to form the two kind of like sides of the bloodline, right?
Yeah, I
'Cause if
think
they
they
have
got a
Roman
lot of
come back, that's kind of where
to each
where
other.
it
There's a
starts.
lot
Like,
of there's a lot of
the
makeup
Solo
scenes they
versus
have to
Roman
do with
stuff.
each other first. Triple H likes to build to that moment. He doesn't just bring them all in together, and it's like, oh, they all said sorry to each other behind the scenes.
So
But we still
I
got some
didn't
time
mean
where
they're all cool when he comes back, dude. What?
So how
But
many
we still got
extras
some
have we
time.
added?
Do you guys actually think Roman's going to come back?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
1,000. You're kidding yourself. If you know, he's basically the main event coming back. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's at least. I don't know. Mine 1,000. Minus 500. Minus
Minus
500 for sure.
550 is like a good starting point.
Yeah.
Hey, Maniac, let's just do 750 and pair it down the middle. How's that?
Yeah,
Okay,
there
that's
you
fair.
go.
That's fair. That's fair. No, but yeah, no. I mean, come on. They're hearing the chance. They would be silly not to eventually do this.
Yeah,
at
is this
SummerSlam.
Cody
It'd be
Solo
crazy.
Sikoa match going to be hijacked by all the chants?
I don't
think-
think you have Solo in the main event if Roman wasn't coming back.
My
I
thinking
agree.
is that they're going to do everything in their power to make you forget about the fact that Roman's coming in at some point in this match. I don't know if they're going to be going into the crowd. I don't know if they're going to be doing something else crazier, but they know that every fan is expecting Roman Reigns to show up like at some point in this match or at the end of the match, something like that. I think they're going to try and swerve us some way, somehow.
What
away
would
from
be
it.
a cool swerve if
Could-
you're getting into that is like they hit the final boss music at some point during the match, so everyone like just is absolutely shell
If the
shocked.
final boss music
Final
hits,
boss
I'm
is
going to
there.
give you an attitude adjustment through the roof.
That's okay. We got good seats. I'm sure everyone will be fine with that. They'll be hyped too. But like everyone will be so shell shocked in that moment, and then once like, can you imagine The Rock like lifting Solo's hand in the ring afterwards, and then bang, here comes the tribal chief? Holy shit!
Wait.
would
You
be baller.
think there's a chance that Solo
No,
Sikoa is
yeah,
gonna
I don't know. I don't know
beat
what
Rhodes?
just happened. That went from The Rock showing up to Solo Sikoa winning and The Rock raising his hand.
I never said
Like,
win, dude.
Oh, well, what? They're gonna lose and beat him down, and The Rock's
Yeah,
still gonna
he
come
puts
and
on
dap
he
him
puts
up?
on a great showing. You all doubted him as a wrestler. Now everyone's like, yeah, we acknowledge Solo. So Rock's like, yeah, I got to acknowledge him as well.
Okay,
Dwayne ain't
okay.
coming anywhere near this match
Whatever that
right
means.
now.
Dwayne's not coming to Cleveland for sure, Parthy. No chance in
No.
hell.
Hey, would you
No
say
chance, no.
someone have to fall off a cliff or something for him to show up?
No, he's just busy.
Oh my god, he absolutely bodied you.
when did he
Give
say
him
that?
a solo. Give him the solo.
Yeah,
I mean, we've heard this before from you, Parthy. You said there's no way in hell that it's not Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania 40, and Rock would have to fall off a cliff for it to not happen. Well, I don't think anyone fell off any cliff. We just had the Cody crybabies come and take over some fake final boss, some fake tribal chief. So let's hear it again. You said there's no way or something. You said something about The Rock not showing up. Would you like to elaborate, maybe add on to something else? Because you have been wrong once before about the final boss.
You have the floor.
Hey,
you have the floor.
Just because I'm the head of the table doesn't mean I'm ever wrong. 80% of the time, I'm right every time. That's all I need to say.
I like that.
I've already brought it out before, and I'll just bring it out again.
Can't go wrong with Steiner math.
All right, very
This
fair.
right here is bullshit.
No one fell off a cliff.
So we're at about 6
was
or 7.
bullshit.
Are we
That's like Cody
missing
said.
any other obvious matches? What's going to be the tag team title match?
That's what I'm thinking. There's got to be one.
Are they
tag
doing?
match.
They're doing JD.
Randy Orton
doing-
in a handicap match?
I think they're doing.
They're
the
doing
women.
JD and Finn versus Miz and Truth again because Miz is from Cleveland. He's getting a match.
There might be
They're
the
giving
women's
Miz
one.
a
I think they
Cleveland
might
match.
give it back to
Okay.
Jade and
Those tag
Bianca.
titles are eventually going to go in the Gorillas of Destiny.
They'll definitely get the Miz on like the show somehow. I don't know if that's how, but I'd be fine with it.
Maybe he'll host again.
Yeah, I mean he's a great host. He's the best.
I think Miz gets a.
Oh,
I think
no.
Miz gets a match.
Is
I
Miz
think he
gonna
gets a match.
host like an episode of Miz TV live from Cleveland at the 50-yard line and get Wyatt sixth?
Oh, I like it.
Oh no!
Okay.
Cool.
The White Six would
He
be,
had
kind of
his guest is
occupied.
Pat McAfee.
Just because that seems sick. Like, yeah, oh yeah, guest Pat McAfee or something like literally the biggest like personas or whatever. He'll talk about like yada yada. Wait, do we have video now? Ernie Green?
Bang. Let's go.
What a guy.
Oh,
Oh, see you later.
Yeah.
You know what? What? That was the ultimate tease right there. Oh, he's back. Ernie.
Your dog.
I'm here.
All right,
Sorry,
all
I
right.
put my face on camera. Here goes all our viewers. My bad.
No, this is a great segue because we got
Yours
our
just
final
shot up.
topic of the night. As we're talking about SummerSlam, it's been pretty obvious. They're beating you over the head with it. Solo is the de facto TV tribal chief. I call him the TV tribal chief. It's just like being the TV champion. With that said, are you buying Solo's push with the win in the recent PLE? And then obviously last week they gave him a pretty good spot at the ending of SmackDown. Let's start with Ernie and then go around the horn up to Ali and then through to the Prophet. Are you buying Solo's push as we head towards SummerSlam?
They've done as good a job as they can of ignoring the fact that he didn't win a match for like 19 months. I'll say that. However, I mean, the crowd wants to kill Solo. Like that Madison Square Garden crowd wanted to burn him at the stake after they attacked Paul Heyman. And then what they did to Orton last week on SmackDown with the attack and how they held, and that the end scene with like Cody like being tied to the ropes was it was like biblical. It was such a great shot.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to throw away like win-loss records, and like the crowd wants Cody to kill Solo. And am I buying that he's like a viable contender? No, but the crowd wants to see him get killed. Like they want to see him get dragged through the gallows in Cleveland at the SummerSlam, and that's a good thing. So, is he the number one contender? Is there a chance that he's gonna win the title? Absolutely not. But is there a story there where Corey's gonna avenge Randy and avenge Paul, and in some ways avenge Roman and win that match, and the crowd's gonna be happy that Solo got vanquished? Absolutely.
Is that the Roman return angle? Cody kind of indirectly avenges the Roman departure only for Solo to walk off into nothing, and then Roman's music hits and he's coming for vengeance against Cody.
Well, I think, the enemy of your enemy is your friend.
Yeah.
Kind of that, like, Roman and Cody aren't friends, but right now Cody and Roman both have a legitimate beef against Solo Sikoa. So I think it's going to be a very at the beginning be a very unholy alliance where they get along because they have to, not because they want to, and they eventually become good partners, kind of like Cody and Seth did eventually.
Oh, interesting. Well, potential future mega powers. Ali, what do you got for this Solo push? You buying it?
No. I mean, like, it's cool, but I think the real star of the show is Jacob Fatu. I think they were kind of right in not bringing him out because everything he does, my jaw drops. I'm literally like, what the hell? He's such an animal in the ring. But with Solo and the Roman return, I wanted to talk about this. I feel as if there's a chance that Roman comes in and just spears Cody Rhodes, causing the DQ, and then just faces off with Solo. I think that would be the best way to book that. And I think it would be super, super shocking. Like maybe even, I don't know, I feel like you have to have the music hit. Because then it's like, what is he going to do? Is he's walking up?
So badass, dude.
Yeah.
So
He'll do his slow walk. Maybe Paul's with him.
Man.
I think that is the best way to close it out.
What if he comes in Jeff Hardy return like dun dun dun? No.
I
Obviously,
can't
he's
wait.
doing a slow ass entry. He's coming in ridiculously.
I can't
It's
wait
a,
for Roman and Punk feud just so we can get Punk commentary while Roman's doing his slow ass entrance.
That'll be funny. That'll be funny. Parthy, what do you got for the Solo push?
Yeah, I'm buying how he's being the leader of this more destructive bloodline that are leaving bodies in their wake, like Paul Heyman and Randy Orton. I think you have to still give Solo a meaningful victory on SmackDown on the lead up to this. Maybe you get one in the win column rather than just be a force of destruction. You got to show him legitimately winning a match by himself. Of course, he's not going to win a match by himself. Anytime that the bloodline is involved in a match, shenanigans with the bloodline. So Solo might not win clean, but I'd like to see him get maybe if KO can come back from his family obligations, if everybody's doing okay and he can make an appearance. I think Solo getting a solo win, no pun intended, over KO would do a lot for his momentum going into the match. Now, at the match itself, I could see Roman showing up and teasing that he's still on Solo's side, and Solo's setting Cody up for a spear, and then Roman spears Solo Sikoa, and the crowd just goes nuts.
That crowd's
like it.
So batshit crazy.
The crowd's gonna be going crazy. Jumping on a couple points here.
What you're going to say? The crowd is going to be going like
shit.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It's going to be
Jake, what
nuts.
you got?
So I think with the Roman part of this, Solo, first of all, the original question, Solo, I'm buying it storyline wise. Solo, the talent, I think, has been overshadowed by Fatu, like you said, Ali, because Jacob Fatu is like one of the best wrestlers on the planet. It seems like I can't wait to see him in just some singles matches. That's a SummerSlam match I'm looking forward to, is him and KO. I think that if KO is back ready to go, I think they could run that to give him a single spotlight. It doesn't hurt for KO to get the loss. I think Roman coming back, I think Roman's going to acknowledge Solo to start when he comes back and play the long game. Roman's going to be like, listen, I lost it. I'm with you, bro. Like, and then the slow burn, like you were saying, Parthy, they don't do this quick. They usually build these things out. I think we get a couple weeks at least of Roman on his side, throwing up the ones, listening to Solo, and then something comes down from it. I will say with the Paul Heyman factor, though, when it comes to Rock and Roman, that I want to just mention here. Remember that Paul had 2 phones before WrestleMania. That's all I'm saying. He had the direct line to The Rock as well as Roman. So all this stuff that he didn't know about, acting like he didn't know about Solo, I don't know. I just feel like Paul's always been a shifty guy. I don't know. I don't know what he's up to there too. So I'm just making note of that. But I have like Solo's build to where they wanted him. And obviously the goal of Roman and Paul and the whole Bloodline creative team was to make Solo, make a lot of these guys mega stars. Obviously with Jey Uso, we've seen the success. But Solo was clearly put in this position to have this success and be in this spot. And this is his big moment. Like, this is his big main event moment. So I don't think Roman interferes in this match, or I don't think they announce him for SummerSlam or anything like that. I think they let Solo have the match and the shenanigans play out later on.
Well, first I have to respond to Micah's theory.
I'm not feeling it.
There is no way that Roman Reigns is teaming up with Solo after everything that has gone down since the night after WrestleMania. I mean, he took over his bloodline. He destroyed his wise man. He's making people acknowledge him without ever mentioning Roman. He's also talking shit about Roman, how he's never coming back. This is my bloodline. There is no way in hell Roman Reigns, who was the tribal chief, the head of the table for 3+ years, whose best friend is the wise man, who had the whole bloodline, and Solo Sikoa thinks he's just going to come and bring in his own guys, destroy the wise man, talk shit about Roman. There is no way that they even are friends for a minute at SummerSlam when that music hits. So that's for that. I do like the solo push, like as someone said, as what it is going on, but I don't. Obviously, the talent is not really there. But really, they needed something to fill the void until Roman came back, until Rock was done filming, and it will start picking up again. It was kind of just like a couple years ago where it was slow and they were waiting for that big push. They're up to the next chapter of the Bloodline, or the next inning of the Bloodline. So I'm excited. I think Roman. I think what's going to happen is that Cody's going to win. Then the Bloodline's going to start attacking Cody after the match, and then you hear Roman's music hit. I'm interested to see, though, if we see Hikuleo at SummerSlam as well. Maybe get a double debut and a return. But I'm definitely excited. Obviously, it's not the match we want, but it's what's going to come either during or after is what's more important.
Yeah, all very good points made. I think we're all on the same page that Roman will just be there in some capacity. I don't necessarily think, Jake, that he just acknowledges Solo. Just doesn't seem like a tribal chief sort of thing to do. Doesn't seem like something the big dog would do in his own yard.
Here's the thing. Let me rebut a little bit back. What is Roman? So Roman's going to show up and just take on 4 guys on his own. He's got some reconciling to do.
Yeah, no, it's
in
more.
The back. He could have Paul,
guys aren't.
He could have Paul working. He could have Paul working behind the scenes. The other guys have all acknowledged Solo already. His bloodline is all loyal to him.
Are they going to be standing all tough and like?
You'll have Jimmy. Jimmy will probably be back before SummerSlam.
Comes back and he's like swinging his pythons around. Like, come on, brother.
A lot to look forward to.
Yeah,
keep going. Go ahead.
Where does Jimmy factor into this? Where does he slide in? Before?
It's on Roman's team. Solo. I think he returns before SummerSlam.
I think he comes back on a Raw soon and talks to Jay, and it's like, you see what they're doing over there, like type of deal. You see what our brother's doing. Well, but Jay's on Raw, so I think you would have to go up there.
Oh, he's got to go get Jay.
To answer the question, how do they play the story of getting Jay to SmackDown?
To answer the question, I'm not buying the Solo dominant run. Like, they've done a good job with it, but like every time he comes on my TV and starts talking, I'm kind of like, who the fuck is this guy? It's just, it's just literally cosplay is what it is. It's like he went into his big cousin's closet when he was out, not home, put on his tribal chief suit, took his like lua or whatever they call that thing, and he's playing cosplay in the mirror. He wants to be the tribal chief. He wants to be the big dog. He just can't live up to it. I know Roman's going to come back and confront him at SummerSlam. No. Don't know how it's going to happen. Would love to see the final boss. Would love SummerSlam to go off the air with Roman standing over Solo with the 1-up, and Paul Heyman off to the ring pulls out his infamous second phone that you mentioned, Jake, and he goes, "Call the final boss."
Give it to me. Give me what I want.
Why would he be calling the final boss in that situation? Because he hates both the tribal chiefs.
Sly little bastard. I don't know, dude.
All right, that's fair. Speaking of Sly little bastards, we've talked a lot in this episode, so thank you for tuning in with us on Wrestling with Emotion. We talked AEW Dynamite 250, which we're all very excited for tonight. Very pay-per-view worthy, and of course the speed to the road to SummerSlam that they are speeding along for WWE. But with that said, we did talk a lot of SummerSlam, but we didn't say a certain person's name. And no, I'm not talking about Joe Hendry, Prophet. I'm talking about John Cena. What is he going to be doing at SummerSlam? Does anyone have anything for 10 to 15 seconds? What's John Cena going to be doing at SummerSlam?
I think Cena comes and helps LA Knight go over Logan Paul for the U.S. title in Cleveland. Screw job.
Well, I think that, I'm going to pass. I'm going to skip that part because, you said his name, so he's going to show up now.
I just hope he's there.
I don't think he's going to be at the SummerSlam, but I do predict it's like minus 600 that he will be in the 2025 Royal Rumble.
He might host.
Okay. I like it all. That's a variety. I didn't think it was a possibility he wouldn't be at SummerSlam after he said like this is his final run.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Joe Hendry. My bad. Cena's like a minus like 5,000. He's gonna be in the SummerSlam.
Oh, thank goodness.
You're that much of a voice of reason. But folks, make sure you're following along all of our voices of reason at SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts, because this is the show where it's not wrestling with your conscience. It's not wrestling with your budget. It is wrestling with emotion. And